Hey, folks, and welcome to what's probably going to be a short recording of SOD, though I'll probably graft it onto a full-fledged episode. That's the benefit of recording so far ahead. You can do that, even if I wasn't to record for a month. I do laugh at that art, because look at where the gnome is, look at how he looks. The rest is like a cool painted picture, but the gnome just looks like... They took the character model from the game, washed it grey, and just stuck it on the thing. It makes the gnome look really like last minute, which it may very well have been. The gnome is an original race for WoW, and is kind of a retcon. Like a lot of like the gyrocopters are a gnomish thing. Thing is, in Warcraft 3, gyrocopters were a dwarven thing. I think that, so I'm not sure how it falls with the steam tanks, you know? Um, I feel it was Blizzard's way of differentiating the Warcraft dwarves from the Warhammer dwarves, because Warhammer dwarves had steam tanks of their own and were of the Order faction the more technologically minded. The humans had their own tanks, but a lot of their tech came from stuff that the dwarves had given them. And they did build upon it themselves. Like, I'm not going to give dwarves full credit, but... You know, the dwarves really, helped humans out there. So, sorry, just done dinner. It was like homemade burgers, chips. It was quite nice. Though there's like bits of mince in my teeth, so. So, I feel like, there's always the accusations that StarCraft is a 40k ripoff. Um, Similarly, I've seen similar things for Warcraft and Warhammer. So, like, apparently with the Zerg in StarCraft 2, they did change them a bit to differentiate the Zerg and the Tyranids. That's the claim going around, supposedly backed up. They changed their designs a bit as a gesture towards Games Workshop. But it kind of feels part of me thinking about it kind of feels the same way with the dwarves when they moved from Warcraft 3 to World of Warcraft. They brought in the gnomes to offload some of the tech to them to differentiate the Warcraft dwarves from the Warhammer dwarves. To be fair, they were largely different otherwise. They're like technological dwarves, but like
it's too far away.
That you're new.
I'm listening. I am on. It's too far away.
How may I help?
Oh, I can just buy the Rune of the Hammer now. Don't actually need to unlock it. I bought a ton of ore because I was just like, you know what, let's get this faction up. And, well, yeah. But basically, the Warcraft dwarves are very different to the Warhammer dwarves. The only real overlap between them is dwarf, and technological. That's the only real overlap. Like, if you look at the culture between the two dwarves, Like, yes, they both like living under mountains. That's just taken from Tolkien. But like, there's the Warhammer dwarf. Yeah, sorry, Warcraft dwarves. Their names are too similar. The Warcraft dwarves don't have the Damas Kron. There's no Book of Grudges. There isn't some great history of grudgedom. You know, there's no weird contempt. There's no contempt between the dwarves and the elves. There's no War of the Beard. There's no nothing. The only real historical war I remember with the dwarves was against other dwarves. Like they all had the same mountain home, and the three wanted it for themselves. I recently, as of time recording, recently had a recording go out of my read of that book that I found in like over in Telsamar. Excuse me. Here, give me a second. I'll try and string the thoughts together better. I could do with a drink. There's like a bit of mince just stuck in my back tooth. But, huh. That top design is pretty creepy. If you kind of ignored a bit of the fan, you could almost think it was a grinning Hydralisk. But, but yeah, part of me's wondering is if the gnomes aren't there to try and help differentiate the Warcraft dwarves from the Warhammer dwarves, given their both technological focus and, like, say, both the dwarves. Don't the dwarves also have steam tanks? Like, both types of dwarves have steam tanks? Like, Blizzard already did it once, so. Okay, I have to stop again. Fuck. I feel like I'm completely mangling the point. Then again, maybe that was just the end joke I made. Basically, I was thinking that like in StarCraft 2, they apparently changed the design. Supposedly, this is canon. They changed the design of the Zerg to some degree between SE1 and SE2 to more like bug-like. I think they said it was to differentiate them from the Tyranids as a token of good faith towards Games Workshop because of the similarity between the Tyranid and the Zerg. And so I probably was wondering if they did the same thing with the dwarves going from Warcraft 3 to WoW. Because the Warcraft dwarves were technological like the Warhammer dwarves were. But to be honest, that's where the similarities end. Beyond being just like based off Tolkien dwarves and now being technological, that's where the similarities end.
I need to get closer.
Because like, look at how, rabidly fixated on honor and blood debts the dwarves are. Like the Damaskron. You slight a dwarf and they declare a blood feud with your entire lineage. The Warcraft dwarves don't do that. So, like, beyond just being technological, I think they both have steam tanks. There's not really much overlap there. I think they both have steam tanks and gyrocopters. So, there is a bit of overlap there in terms of, like, weaponry, but culture-wise, they are different. So, part of me was wondering if the gnomes were added in to take some of the tech off them to help differentiate them from Warhammer dwarves. But I was also thinking that the gnomes, unless we know why the gnomes were added in, like I'm just conjecturing right now, maybe the gnomes were added in to. I swear it's been a while since I've seen those skulls on the map. Maybe the gnomes were added in to bulk up the race numbers for the alliance, because okay, they have to make the Forsaken join a faction because they're one of the playable races from the Warcraft 3. You don't want to leave the undead players out entirely. I'm guessing. So the Horde makes more sense than the Alliance. So you end up having Orcs, Trolls, Tauren, Forsaken on the Horde side. But on the Alliance side, given that the Blood Elves were chased away and all that, you have humans, Night Elves, Dwarves. Only 3 races to 4. So gnomes were brought in, given some of the dwarf stuff, and made like a sibling race to the dwarves. If you get me, they shared the starter zone and whatnot, um, like the trolls do with the orcs, you know. So to bulk up, you know, race numbers for the alliance. That could be why we have gnomes. This all stemmed from the fact that the gnome seemed so very tacked on that loading screen. Like the art for the human was great, the art for the Forsaken was great, the art for the dwarf was great. They're all nice in their own way. But then the gnome just looked like they took a gnome riding a Mechanostrider, like the straight model from the game, slapped it grey, and just stuck it in. Put it in grayscale and stuck it in the game. It seemed very like last moment kind of thing, you know, like shit. You know, they introduced a new race, I have 5 minutes to do this. Boom. So, you know, it didn't seem as grand as the rest of the artwork there. Like the rest of it was great, but it just seemed last moment, you know? So part of me was wondering if it was to, like the StarCraft 2 thing, apparently they changed the design of the Zerg in between SC1 and SC2 to, as a token of good faith to Games Workshop, to differentiate from the Tyranids. That's the story I've heard. So part of me was wondering if they didn't do the same thing with the Dwarves, despite the lack of other overlap. Them having both gyrocopters and steam tanks, you know, too much, you know, a bridge too far. So they gave that to gnomes and, you know, offloaded it that way. But maybe they just had it in gnomes to bulk up the race numbers. So maybe that's it. Of course, maybe gnomes have been in the expanded novels, because apparently the artist's sister was actually in one of the lore novels, you know, years before she turned up in WoW in any capacity. She was mentioned in Warcraft 3, but she was mentioned in one of the lore novels that came out, you know, prior to WoW, apparently. So, you know, who knows? Maybe the gnomes are the same. So, yeah, that's what just I'm trying to say. The gnome felt so very tacked on there, so my mind started, like, racing. It's just like, you know, why? And it's, you know, maybe it's like the Zerg thing. Or maybe it's just simply to bulk up the race numbers, because it would have been 3 to 4. And they wouldn't want to leave anyone out. They wanted to have, like, I would imagine, all the playable races from Warcraft 3, or as many as possible playable races from Warcraft 3 in the game. So you'd have to have your humans, you'd have to have your orcs, you'd have to have your trolls, you'd have to have your Tauren, the Forsaken, your dwarves. They certainly ended up leaving that the Blood Elves, at least the Burning Crusade, but you couldn't have them on the Alliance. And the Horde already had 4 people. 4 races, so. And you know, they do have to limit scope somewhat. So adding in gnomes, you know, much more doable. So just tack them on with the dwarves and, you know, move on. So what's this about? Huh. Wait, am I? Friggin' hell. I'm actually in this bit of it now? Huh. No longer need to run all the way over there.
you here? Greetings. Good luck, friend.
1, 2.
Ishnuala.
I went to sell the one ore I had, but then I discovered how cheap it was. So I was just like, shit, yeah, I'll just buy out the auction house and go turn it in and get some of this rep up. Because I felt bad for not doing some of the new factions and whatnot.
May the stars.
Though I feel bad that I didn't really get to see the quests and, you know, the how this place was before it got kind of gutted. Like, you can no longer do all the dailies once you've passed level 50. Like, all this content is just kind of dead now. You just can't do it anymore. You get these 3 quests and that's it. All the rest, well, you're locked out from them. This is the highest level instance of the place. So, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Farewell.
Nothing I can do.
Denadris. Farewell. May the stars guide you. Good luck, friend. I am on. What brings you here?
More star shells.
Peace be with you.
Fine, fine.
I'm listening. Go in peace. Denadris. Ishnuala. What brings you here? Peace be with you. Farewell. Ishnuala. Good luck, friend. May the stars guide you. I'm listening. Denadris. Greetings.
I'm now friendly with them.
I am on. Peace be with you. Ishnuala. I am listening. What brings you here? I am on.
It's going I was going for a bit smoother.
Go in peace. What brings you here? May the stars guide you. I am on. Farewell. Peace be with you. Greetings. Ishnuala.
It's kind of obnoxious that it only stacks to 10, the ore.
I am on. Go in peace. I am listening. Greetings. Denadris. Good luck, friend. Farewell. Peace be with you. Go in peace. Ishnuala. I am on. Ishnuala.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 12 more.
Peace be with you. What brings you here? Greetings. May the stars guide you. I am listening. Denadris. Good luck, friend. Go in peace. Denadris. May the stars guide you.
There we go. Didn't go as far as I hoped, but it's fine. Bit indifferent.
Ishnu Allah.
Originally called by Ristel Call to incite Rooted Call before battle.
Del Nadris. Hello. Good luck, friend.
What reward?
What brings you here?
Okay.
Farewell.
I don't use this rune, but it was just more of a collect it because it's there sort of deal. Also wish I could use it. Instant hammer rat would be nice. One, two. See how great that art is. And the gnomes just look so tacked on in the corner.
Inventory is full.
Jesus. I really did make way too much of this. Not sure why this is glitching out. There, browser closed. Well, that price jumped up. I don't expect that to ever sell. I'll probably just end up deleting it. But you never know what crazy person will wander through and want to level that faction.
I can't carry it.
One, two, three. Ah, this is annoying. Wondering how well our raid will go tomorrow. I think I just lost some money on these, but I don't care. It's no big deal. One, two, three. Ugh. Remembering something that annoyed me earlier. Sometimes I make extra stuff just simply to make something.
Inventory is full. That spell isn't ready.
I actually really like just crafting stuff, and so that's why I have all these like weight stones. Not what I wanted to do, but fine. It's not like you pay that much in deposit. But yeah, I was reading a manga and don't remember what it's called. But someone's a snippy little bastard. Choose someone out for something that they've no way of knowing, and it's just like, well done, you've been here for like 10 years. They literally just turned up, and you're chewing them out for something they have no way of knowing. It's like, wow, suddenly I hate your guts. Like, they had a point, but it was just like they weren't wrong, they were just a prick about it. And so it's just like, wow, you're fucking annoying. So, I just like, it just kind of annoys me when I think about it. Similarly, I'm remembering someone else that annoyed me, and a real person this time. Still fucking annoys me. Well, as long as we don't run into each other, it's fine. Darmon North. Huh. Okay, let me just check and see. Do I have anything else I need to make? Back up to 18.5 grand? Somehow I doubt that will ever sell. I'll knock it back later. Greater Shadow Protection, Mongoose, Dragon Breath Chili, Shadow Power, Greater Firepower, Spirit Defense, Rage Potion. This won't sell. Warriors aren't too popular right now. They're one of the weaker classes. They're one of the first to get the world buff abilities. Uh, Actually, they may be the only one with world buff abilities. But everything else is depicted. It's gotten through an item. But they may be the only one to get an ability to encourage them being brought in parties, despite poor performance. Why they couldn't get tuned to just do better, I don't know, but I suppose it's easier to like here's a weaker world buff rather than tweaking a class on a larger scale, because it's imagine it's easy to get something wrong and then have to retune it because well it's not just PvE, you'll be affecting PvP too, and ugh. Hmm. I'm staring at this as if I could even make out what's going on the screen right now. It just kind of votes a blur. I can't remember what's what in a way. Hmm. Hmm. This actually did sell. I could make it. Strickle. Okay, fine. 21. It's all mental maths. I have no idea if I've done it right. Okay, imbued vessel. Vial.
Light be with you. Farewell.
Oh, road squid selling. Awesome. Alright. Seems I spent about 100 there. No big deal, really. Just gonna check something. Commented on a thing earlier, and I made a joke, someone didn't get it, and so now I'm just kind of like, did he get my attempt at clarifying, or? Yeah, I commented on something and they didn't get my joke, so I tried to explain it, and now I'm wondering, how that went across, because I'm a bit off I'm a bit off, so I'm more wondering if I botched my words or not. Okay, went to make 21, got 43, so I got 44, so I got 3 extra. Yeah. So a nice chunk of extra profit. Though I'm wondering if I didn't go overboard. Alright. Well. Let's celebrate. With some Dark Moon Special Reserve. I'm blowing bubbles. Oh, and the fact of being drunk.
Need something?
Hello.
Mine work on like friendlies, but enemies will seem lower level than actuality. And maybe you have to be drunk enough. But they'll actually seem lower level. Than they actually are. So. It's probably to, simulate. Oh. Well, to add to the whole drunk effect. RuneScape gives you some bonus stats and takes others away. In WoW, enemies will seem weaker than they actually are. You being overconfident in your strength because of, Dutch courage. But anyway, I think I'm done here for now. I need to come on tomorrow and do some grinding, some invasions, because I'm nearly done with this, but I'm nearly done. I'm not done. And if I want to go to Nax on Wednesday, then I need it. I need to have a level 6 brooch. So, yeah. Hopefully some more stuff will sell. You've seen how long my vids get. I'm very obsessive on my merchanteering. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you join me again soon. Ooh, I got 36 emerald chips. Not that they're really any value, but I have them. Let me see if I can't deposit them over here.
Light be with you.
Awesome. Up to 39, 49. So, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Till then,